Welcome back. Now, biosecurity measures are being increased in the Western Cape following the outbreak of 5 highly pathogenic avian influenza outbreaks on 2 commercial chicken farms. Now, it's led to concerns of a chicken and egg shortage after a number of items were pulled from several stores' shelves during the week. And government is engaging with the South African Poultry Association and all poultry farmers, including those with birds that are kept as a hobby or for zoo purposes, to adhere to strict biosecurity measures in order to prevent HPAI. So for more on this, we are joined virtually by Director of Animal Health at the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Mpho Maja. Dr. Maja, good to have you with us here on Morning Live. Welcome.
Good morning, Sakina, and good morning to the viewers.
So, Dr. Maja, it's been quite an interesting time because experts have warned that there is a virus causing record cases of avian influenza in birds across the world, and this is changing rapidly. But as far as South Africa is concerned, how does this affect us and our poultry stock?
You are correct, Sakina. The avian influenza outbreaks are actually causing concern globally. Here in South Africa, we've been fortunate that we started implementing and beefing up our biosecurity measures following the 2016-2017 outbreaks. And that has really helped the commercial poultry farms in managing to prevent introduction of cases onto farms. But avian influenza is becoming a global threat.
So at this point, I think the education is important because, as I had indicated in the introduction, we suddenly now saw product being pulled from supermarket shelves. But let's just allay some of the fears that exist at this point, Dr. Maja. So firstly, the risk to humans, is that a cause for concern at this point? And which products are affected, and what should we be staying clear of, if anything, at this point?
I'm actually known to be the biggest supporter of the livestock producers. I love my meat. I love my animal products. And that probably gives the consumers comfort to have somebody that's that passionate about food and animal health, managing and taking the responsibility to ensure that the consumer out there is safe. The current avian influenza outbreak that we are seeing, yes, it is highly pathogenic. It affects chickens and it kills them. But so far, we haven't had any cases reported in people. There are rumors of doctors that are diagnosing people with avian influenza. And Sakina, I need to add that this is the flu season. Influenza viruses are similar. You may have human influenza that is H5 and whatever number. So people should not panic and jump to conclusion that I have flu, it is therefore avian influenza. I was listening to the interview this morning with Isak Breitenbach and Meneer Strydom, and I wish to confirm that all farms that are affected are immediately placed under quarantine. No live animals are allowed to move off the premises. No eggs are allowed to move off the premises. So as far as avian influenza and poultry products are concerned, we are all safe. There's no need to worry. It's all contained on those farms. It is not allowed to move off premises in the form of eggs or chicken that moves off the premises.
So just to bottom line that, because I think this is, of course, where the problem starts. So you see WhatsApp messages on social media, and people are talking about the outbreak of avian flu among chickens in South Africa. Then the messages start sending out warnings. It's unsafe to eat eggs at this point. So you saying that the situation is contained on those farms, and therefore what is out there is safe to be consumed, Dr. Maja?
That is correct. Farms are placed under quarantine. Nothing is allowed to move off. So any meat that is on the shelf is safe. All eggs that are on the shelf are safe. They would be coming from premises that are not affected, which are not under quarantine, so they are safe to consume.
So I'm just thinking about people who may be rearing chickens at home. They might have a little chicken coop. What are the first signs that you would perhaps notice if a chicken has been infected with avian flu?
They would show swollen faces, a bit of runny nose. The cob would turn dark red with heavy blood supply to it. And I'm trying to also say, if you could put yourself in the chicken's feet, perhaps shoes, they would have those symptoms that you have actually when you have flu: heavy head, swollen, congested nose. So that's basically what you are going to see with your chickens. And the first sign is actually to stop eating and they stop drinking.
So in terms of this type of education, and this perhaps is of concern, Dr. Maja, because we have you now, but this is, of course, after we've seen empty shelves in the supermarkets and people have stopped eating eggs. They've destroyed whatever eggs they may have bought. They may have destroyed meat products that they have bought because of the fear-mongering. So just in terms of the education, how do you suppose we could best deal with this going forward? Because, as I say, for those people who are rearing animals, just to be on the safe side.
So that's a bit difficult, because already in the past week and a half, the department has given out messages. We've been trying to cover as many interviews as possible. But the sad reality is that the good news or the correction of viral messages doesn't go viral. But you are right, education goes a long way. And we need to then actively put messages across before it even happens, to alert the consumers, alert the poultry farmers, just so that the general public is aware that we are aware and that something is being done about something. So I think it is a lesson that we need to be ultra vigilant when it comes to communication.
And Dr. Maja, you spoke about the 2 farms in the Western Cape. Is that situation now wholly contained, or is there still concern about other farms, other areas in the country at this stage?
Sakina, it's actually 5 farms in the Western Cape where we have confirmed the infection. We are investigating 2 other farms inland, one in the northwest and one in the Gauteng Mpumalanga area. It's the start of the flu season, so it's very difficult for us to say, yes, definitely it has been contained. Avian influenza is transmitted by wild birds, and we have picked up infection in wild birds. So the only message out there is for poultry farmers, including those that are keeping small numbers, to please improve their biosecurity. Minimize attracting wild birds onto your property. So for the lady who's keeping 5 birds to produce eggs for their breakfast every day, please make sure that you don't keep or leave feed outside where wild birds would be attracted. Don't leave water lying around, because wild birds would come and drink, and in doing so they infect your 5 birds that are the entire livelihood of that household. So it's not over. We are only starting with the flu season. But if we hold hands and make sure that we improve biosecurity, I'm sure we wouldn't report as many cases actually as we reported in the 2017 outbreak.
And of course, then there's concern as to whether this would impact on supply chain in any significant number, the cases that have been reported so far, Dr. Maja. Is there a cause for concern in that regard at this stage?
Not at the moment. With the 5 farms that we have reported, I had actually been meaning to check how many farms in total of table egg layers we have in the country. So 5 is not such a big number, so it wouldn't cause disruption in terms of supply. I know that it is one too many, especially to the owners of those farms, but it shouldn't cause supply chain concerns at the moment.
And just finally, Dr. Maja, perhaps as a parting shot to everyone who's watching, who are still concerned, who, are untrusting of perhaps what is being said because of the messages that have gone before, what is your message to the broader public?
Let's eat eggs and let's eat our poultry meat. Avian influenza, unfortunately, as I said in the intro and as you said in the intro, is a global concern. We also need to educate the consumers on kitchen hygiene. So it's not just avian influenza that would be a foodborne concern. So let's also practice good hygiene in the kitchen when preparing food. But with regards to avian influenza, honestly, I don't think the consumers need to be concerned. That product doesn't hit the shelf. So we are safe to consume our meat and our eggs.
Dr. Maja, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much, Dr. Mpho Maja, Director of Animal Health at the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, and Dr. Maja assuring us that whatever product, chicken, eggs on the shelves, it is safe to be consumed. So as Dr. Maja said, you may continue, have your eggs, have your chicken, and feel safe to consume those. And of course, for the farmers to just increase their biosecurity measures